Unplugged ceremonies are becoming the norm, and with good reason. Never been in an unplugged ceremony? What is an unplugged ceremony? Why do couples choose to have an unplugged ceremony? How do couples communicate their desire for an unplugged ceremony to guests? Are guests allowed to take any photos or videos during the unplugged ceremony?
Listen now and discover all you need to know about unplugged ceremonies. These are wedding insider secrets for a stress-free, fun, and memorable day. Our podcast helps engaged couples navigate wedding planning complexities while addressing family expectations. We'll guide you through the journey of creating the perfect wedding day without unnecessary stress. Get concise tips on budgeting, wedding party management, ceremony, reception planning, and more. Perfect for anyone planning a wedding, all in 30 minutes or less. Trust us, you don't want to miss this.
Welcome to Stress-Free Wedding Planning, the podcast that will transform your wedding planning journey from chaotic to enchanting. Sal and Sam bring over 80 years of combined wedding expertise and exclusive insider information to the table. If you're recently engaged, feeling the pressure of wedding planning, struggling with family expectations, but still dreaming of a joy-filled wedding, you've come to the right place. Get ready to unveil the best-kept wedding secrets, discover practical tips and strategies, and learn life-changing lessons for a stress-free wedding. Your unforgettable wedding day awaits. We're here to take you on a transformative journey of love, laughter, and memories. So don't miss out on the podcast that just might change your life. This is the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast with Sal and Sam.
Learn more about our experience and journey to help you with stress-free wedding planning in the trailer or pilot of this podcast.
In today's edition, it's a subject that I've wanted to talk about in depth for a long time. It's unplugged ceremonies and what you need to know. It's brought to you in part by Clear Vision Productions and the Wedding Styles of Connecticut Wedding Shows. That's weddingstylesofct.com. But first, if you have a question or concern, go now to Facebook and join us on the Stress-Free Wedding Planning community. And guess what? Ask away.
Today we're talking about a trend that I think and hope will be here to stay. The unplugged ceremony. There is so much you need to know and understand, so let's jump into it. Let's begin with the obvious first question. What is an unplugged ceremony? An unplugged ceremony basically means that your family and friends at your ceremony will not use any of their electronic devices such as cameras, smartphones, or even iPads or anything of that matter to take any pictures or any video.
Now, I have experienced this too much as you have, but the times that I've experienced it, it has gone pretty well. You know, the guests do listen, they put their phones down. But I know you're going to give us some experiences where grandma pulls out her 17-inch iPad and wants to video the whole ceremony. So I'll let you take it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we're going to be talking a little later about a lot of these things, but yeah, there's a reason for not having these things out. And one of the things is distraction. You don't want to distract other guests from being able to see the event and being part of it. And so that's the whole idea, is no distractions and not being in the way of the photographer and videographer of doing their job.
Right. So at the very beginning of the ceremony, does the officiant have something that they say?
So it's done different ways. So I've had where the officiant does make the announcement, and that's pretty much in most cases the best person to do the job. But what I'm finding nowadays is with my couple specifically, even if I'm not the officiant, I'm just handling the sound, I ask if I make the announcement for the reason of you're getting a lot of these people who are doing their very first ceremonies or just don't have a lot of experience. And they just kind of say, our couples asked you not to take any pictures and videos. Okay, you gave the message, but you didn't give it appropriately for them to understand why they shouldn't have their phones or cameras out. It's very important to explain everything in great detail. And I'm finding that nowadays that detail is key. So you need to explain to them, hey, we don't want you to have your phones in the air where you're going to block someone else's view, or you might get in front of our photographer and videographer and ruin some really good shots. And wouldn't you rather be paying attention to what's really going on and being part of the here and now?
And that's the real point. That's why this announcement or this type of ceremony became very popular, is because professional videographers and still photographers were getting locked pictures because guests were standing up and in their shot, or even, I've heard, walking up in the vestibule where in the church where the actual ceremony is being taking place, or in the synagogue. And obviously that type of stuff is a no-no. So is this one of the reasons why couples choose to have an unplugged ceremony?
Oh, definitely. And, like you're saying, people jumping up in places they shouldn't be. I had an instance where an aunt of the bride got right in the middle of the aisle, right in front of the photographer while the first kiss was happening.
Horrible.
The photographer completely missed the shot because she jumped in. He got the back of her head. And he said to her, "You just ruined my shot." And she says, "Don't worry, I got it on my iPhone. You're all set." So it's just like, not the same thing. So, you got to let people do their jobs and less distractions, pay attention, and don't ruin anything. That's the whole idea. So, how do couples communicate their desire, to have an unplugged ceremony to their guests? And there's different ways. We just talked about, making an announcement at the ceremony, which is always a good idea, with an explanation on why. But there's other ways to do it too. All these wedding websites that you have, that you're creating for your wedding. On your wedding website, mention that it's an unplugged ceremony and put a little explanation on why you're doing an unplugged ceremony. In your invitation at 3:00, our unplugged ceremony will begin. Whatever. You want to keep the word in there in multiple times so people understand. Now, there are signs that you could buy and you could have at your wedding. I think that's a waste of money because most people don't read all those signs. There's just too many. So best way, website, invitation, making an appropriate announcement.
So this is not an exception of that announcement. Whatever you do beforehand, you still make that announcement before the ceremony, right?
Definitely, because you don't know if everyone's paying attention to the website, or did they pay attention to the invitation? So on top of making the announcement, the announcement is definitely going to happen. These are things you do on top of it to kind of ensure that things are going to run smoothly.
So then, Sal, this leads to the question, can guests still take photos during the reception portion if they can't take it during the unplugged ceremony?
And that's an absolute yes, but please keep in mind the professionals are there to do their job. And this is another place where sometimes people go where they shouldn't go. Like when the first dance is happening, having Aunt Martha run onto the dance floor right in front of the photographer or videographer's camera. You got to keep your distance. Please respect everyone in that room. So yeah, taking pictures during reception is usually never, ever an issue. Just respect what needs to be done for our couple so they get the best pictures and best video.
Right now, just to quickly go back to the announcement, is there any unique ways that you have done it? I've heard of some officiants saying, all right, for the next minute before we start the ceremony, anybody that wants to take a picture now. And then once that minute is done, put your phones away. We're going to do the ceremony.
Yeah, so, that has happened. And I personally am not a big fan because now you just told people they're not going to be able to take, pictures during the ceremony, but we're going to let you have this one opportunity. Take your phones and cameras out now. Take these pictures. The problem is they've taken them out again. And now you're expecting them to put them away. And in most cases, not everyone's going to do that. You gave them the permission to pull it back out again. Sometimes that's just leave it alone. Just let it be unplugged through the whole thing so that there's no issues. But yeah, that is always a possibility where I've had where the couple is with the officiant and then they have the couple turn around, the officiant walks away and take as many pictures as you like during this time. And now please put your cameras away. So it depends on the group. Some will listen, some will not. We've just explained what an unplugged ceremony entails, why couples opt for it, and how they convey the request to the guest. and whether guests are permitted to take photos during the reception.
Coming up next, are exceptions allowed for professional photographers or filmmakers in an unplugged ceremony? What alternatives exist for a partially unplugged ceremony that still restricts phone and camera usage? A couple creatively inform guests about an unplugged ceremony. That's coming up next.
This is the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast with Sal and Sam, a podcast for engaged couples concerned about wedding planning and family expectations, but who want to have a stress-free, fun, and unforgettable wedding.
Wedding Tip Wednesday is brought to you by Emerge Cosmetics. Are you ready to emerge? Our line of lipsticks, lip glosses, and mascaras was created to empower and become who you truly are, strong, beautiful, and confident. Use the coupon code SF1 at emergecosmetics.com for an instant 10% off. That's coupon code SF1 at emergecosmetics.com. Emerge is the true you.
Here's your Wedding Tip Wednesday for today. Don't be like Susan from Seinfeld. Don't bother to lick those invitation envelopes. Use a sponge or a roll of double-sided tape or glue sticks. Better still, get a dab and seal envelope moisturizer with adhesive. There you go. Problem solved.
So for those who don't get the Seinfeld reference, Susan was engaged to George Costanza. Check out that particular show. Look it up on the internet. You'll be able to play it on YouTube. It's absolutely hilarious. With all the advancements in technology of envelopes over the years, you do not need to lick that anymore. So go to Staples. Check out the different envelopes they have. Someone can help you out over there. And that's another tip from Sal and Sam.
Wedding Tip Wednesday is available on the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Facebook group page every Wednesday. Join the group for free.
This summer, Wedding Styles of Connecticut Wedding Shows is hosting 2 of the most fun, interactive, and informative wedding planning events around. The Bridal Bash events at Woodwinds in Branford and the Fairfield County Bridal Bash at Pinstripes in Norwalk. Designed for wedding couples to enjoy a fun night out with their family, friends, and wedding party. Whether you are just starting the wedding planning process or putting the finishing touches on your special day, the Bridal Bash combines everything you need and more. You'll experience the best of what Woodwinds and Pinstripes have to offer, along with their hand-picked preferred wedding professionals. You'll enjoy entertainment, dancing, raffle prizes, delicious food, and signature drinks. Get ready for the most exciting wedding planning events of the season, the Bridal Bash events. Save the date for the Woodwinds Bridal Bash in Branford, Connecticut on Thursday, July 25th, and the Fairfield County Bridal Bash at Pinstripes in Norwalk, Connecticut on Thursday, September 26th. For tickets and more information on the Bridal Bash events, go to weddingstylesofct.com. That's weddingstylesofct.com. And now back to the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast.
Welcome back to our discussion about unplugged ceremonies. Hi, I'm Sal from After Hours Events of New England, the leader in making your wedding stress-free. Visit us on the web at afterhoursevents.ne.com.
Hi, I'm Sam from Atmosphere Productions, wedding entertainment with expert knowledge and the difference in quality. Visit us at atmosphere-productions.com. We're talking about a subject that I love getting into because it is something that definitely is done by today's modern couples, and that's unplugged ceremonies. So we already talked about little stuff that happens at the ceremony, what announcements you can make, etc. So are there exceptions to the unplugged rule, such as professional photographers or videographers? Shouldn't they already know that they're not involved in the unplugged rule?
You would think, but I'd actually have had some approach me and say, wait a minute, we can't take pictures or record, but isn't that our job? Yes, it is your job, and you should continue to do your job. This doesn't include you. If they're listening to the announcements, and that's the funny thing, they're not always listening to the announcement, because I will always make the announcement, we have a professional photographer and videographer to record this moment. You'll get to see everything in a short time after the wedding. So that should have been a clue. You still need to record, but sometimes a lot of the newbies, it's not the veterans, it's the newbies that just don't understand what an unplugged ceremony. And I even get questions from wedding officiants. Does this mean I'm not going to have a microphone now because it's unplugged? It's like it has nothing to do with sound. It has everything to do with people taking pictures from their cameras or their phones. So you have to explain everything, it seems, nowadays. Sorry, Sam.
I thought it was a strange thing to ask, but now that you've explained it and you run into that experience, now, are there any other exceptions? Well, in fact, there shouldn't really be any other exceptions. Once you've made the decision to have an unplugged ceremony, that's it. It should be hard and fast, right? Nobody should be picking up a camera, stepping in the aisle, standing up to take a picture. It's a no-no.
Yeah, this is true, but I have situations where a couple did not hire a videographer, and they say, look, I have my cousin, and we've told everyone my cousin is the only one that's going to record. And when I know something like that, I'll make an announcement and say, hey, Kevin, Mike's cousin, is going to be recording this for you all, so you're going to get to see this later. So it's just him that is allowed to do this. Everyone, please just pay attention and enjoy the ceremony. So now, are there alternatives to a completely unplugged ceremony that still limit phone and camera use? We can touch this. Talking about having times where you could take a quick photo of the couple announcing, hey, here's your chance, take a picture, or take a short video of the whole wedding party and our couple. That is really the only alternative that I can think of that you would do, or it would have to be done towards the end, and that would ruin the excitement of announcing them as a married couple for the first time. So it would be something that would need to be done very early in the event before things actually start. But again, as I mentioned, I'm not a big fan of that, because now you've told people they can't do something. Now you told them they can do it, and then you expect them to put it away again later. And it's just usually doesn't work out very well.
Agreed with you 100%. Now we've come to the fun part of this edition. It's the creative ways to announce unplugged ceremony. Take it, Sal. I know you're going to give me some creative stuff here.
Oh, Sam, definitely. There's some great ways to do it, to have a little fun, a little humor into it. There's just different ways you can say it, like, welcome, family and friends. We have hired a photographer to capture how this moment looks with their camera, so you can capture how it feels with your heart. And another one is, our couple has kindly requested an unplugged ceremony. Please turn off all your devices and enjoy being fully present in this moment with us. And here's another one. Again, being a little funny about things. There's a pro here taking pictures. Michael and Wendy asked them to come. Please rest your cameras, as our ceremony only needs one. So that's a pretty cool thing to kind of really send it home. The photographer is going to take care of this. They've got your back. Don't worry about it. And another one you can do is, as they tie the knot, Michael and Wendy ask that you please be their guest. Their photographer will take care of the rest. A little rhyming going in there, a little cheesy, but it works. You know what I'm saying?
I like that one. I've got a couple that I'm going to add. Welcome to our unplugged wedding. We invite you to be fully present with us during our ceremony. So please turn off all phones and cameras. Thank you. That's a kind of a formally one that you can do. Another one is, the great gift you can give us today is to be truly present. So please turn off all phones and cameras and enjoy this special moment with us. So you can actually write that down at the very beginning of your ceremony, give that to your officiant so they read. That's a very formal one that is pretty generic for everybody. And I'll give you one more. We've asked a professional photographer to capture this special moment so that you can sit back, relax, and enjoy it with us. Our beautiful images will be available after the wedding. Doesn't that just encompass everything that we just spoke about today?
Everything in those couple lines. That's a beautiful thing.
So there you have it. We just shared with you insider tips on unplugged ceremonies. These tips can help create a more intimate and meaningful experience for everyone involved.
Now, as you spend the next week planning your wedding, if you want me, Sam, or our community of stress-free, engaged couples and wedding experts to answer any wedding-related questions, join us over in the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Facebook group.
Once you're in, go ahead and share your concerns and worries, and we'll let you know if you're on the right track or if there's something we need to work on. The link to join us is in the show notes of this edition. Or go to Facebook and search for the Stress-Free Wedding Planning Community.
A new edition is released every Wednesday. Subscribe and get it first. Remember to do something nice for someone today. And if you can't, do something nice for yourself. We'll catch you then. Ciao.
Thank you for listening to this edition. If you've enjoyed what you've just heard, leave a review and share it with a friend or someone who would benefit from this information. Until next time, it's TTFN. Ta-ta for now.
The Stress-Free Wedding Planning Podcast is produced and copyrighted by Atmosphere Productions in association with After Hours Events of New England.
Sponsored in part by Clear Vision Productions and the Wedding Styles of Connecticut Wedding Show series.